We hope you're having a great day. There's a couple things we want to touch on for this week's video. First is, as many of you know, the state is moving into phase 4, or at least is poised to, but I don't think there's any question. We're moving into phase 4 on Friday, which brings a new set of rules for the vast majority of the state and for a lot of businesses. However, for chiropractic physicians, really, there aren't that many changes. In fact, there aren't really any changes that have taken place moving from phase 3 to phase 4. The questions that we're getting surround a number of things. First of all, face coverings. Based on the information they released early on, as well as the information they released specific to phase 4, nothing's going to change with regard to face coverings. Face coverings are still required for both healthcare personnel as well as for your patients. If for some reason your patient is unable to wear to wear a mask, then you probably should take additional precautions. Let me explain what I mean by that. In essence, in the guidelines, what they talk about is for service personnel and for services rendered in the service personnel arena, not necessarily healthcare, but basically they say that if a customer can't wear a mask or can't wear a face covering, then the service provider should be wearing goggles in addition to the mask. Again, giving additional protection. Now, that's actually backed up. Recently, the Joint Commission that accredits hospitals made recommendations to the hospitals that anybody who has patient contact, for those that can't wear masks, should be wearing goggles at the time of that contact, the time of that conversation, even if it's at the 6 foot mark. And so, we just want you to be aware that that is an additional consideration that you may want to take in. But masks are the norm. Masks are the norm even in phase 4 for both doctors, staff, and patient, for all three. And so that's important. Now, what else? Occupancy is another big question. And they said, 50 is the group. Well, really, in phase 3, what the limitation was based on occupancy of your particular office. And that hasn't changed. It's still 50%. That was also already in place in phase 3, that you can never exceed a 50% occupancy during phase 4. Now, we continue to recommend to our doctors that you remove chairs out of your waiting room to demonstrate the required social distancing. You put the markers on the floor to demonstrate where they stand if they're checking in, to give the proper protocols for the patients so that they understand what's happening, and then also honor that social distancing with your staff as well as much as possible, except for, of course, when you're treating the patient, that would not be possible. But then at that stage, everyone's wearing masks. So that's good. What else is in play? Pretty much anything that was in play for phase 3 as far as our doctor's offices are concerned are still in play for phase 4. There really aren't any adjustments regarding phase 4. So hopefully that brings you up to speed. Another quick reminder, on July 1, the minimum wage does go up again. And so if you have workers that are making less than $10 an hour, that you need to make modifications to your payroll system beginning on July 1. So you want to make sure you get that done as well. That's the next increase in the step-up increase that after this point will happen once a year on January 1st of the following year. So it's $10 this year. On January 1st of 2021, it will move up to 11, and then 12, 13, 14, and cap off at 15 in 2025. Anyway, those are the two big pieces that we wanted to cover for today. No real changes for your office for phase 4. Oh, by the way, one other thing I want to touch on for phase 4 is phase 4 also doesn't really change your requirements for screening. Continue to take the temperatures when they check in at the door, as well as go through the screening questions for your patients. You're going to do also for your staff, beginning of the shift and post-shift for your screenings, mid-shift for the screenings for your employees as well, and that includes physicians, so make sure you're screening yourself. Hopefully this information helps you out. We'll catch you next week.